How do you want to just go through intros?
It doesn't matter to me. I'm happy to do it. Unless you want to, Josh.
I'm happy to take the back seat.
Okay, here we are. It's funny because I feel like, didn't we just have a meeting? Like, it feels like it literally was like last week that we had this same meeting. So welcome everyone. I'm in a time warp. Let's go ahead and start with our standard, everybody introduce yourselves. I guess I can introduce myself for those who don't know me. I'm Megan. I'm with Altitude Arborist, and I'm part of the leadership team for the sector partnership. And let's go with Nikki next.
Good morning, Nikki Lucas with the Place Setting Company and the convener for the Tree Care Sector Partnership.
And how about Mike? Oh, sorry, that's rude. Mike's trying to take a call. How about Kelly?
Kelly Gouge, district manager for Save a Tree, and a part of the leadership team as well, and part of the apprenticeship program. So, Mr. Arborscape over there.
Hello, I'm David with Arborscape, and I'm exactly like Kelly, other than a little shorter, a little wider, but all the other stuff. And let's go with Shelby.
Hi, I am Shelby with Arborscape, and I'm here more to kind of give a student's perspective to a lot of things because I just recently graduated high school, so I have a little bit more of a connection with that. And let's go with Emily Berger.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I am Emily with Denver Workforce Services within Denver Economic Development and Opportunity. And I have a focus on production, agriculture, construction, and energy. And I will pass it to Brian.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian McCoy with the City of Westminster. Good to see everybody. It's been a little while. I just want to let you know I'm pretty tied up these days and haven't been able to attend the last few meetings. We have EAB blowing up in the city here. And it's just, it's taking a lot of energy and time. So I'm going to bring in our assistant city forester to kind of take my place at times in these meetings. So I'll introduce him next time around. But with that, let's go on to Adrian.
I'm Adrian Camacho, one of the superintendents for forestry in Aurora, and part of the leadership team here. How about you, Lynn?
Hi, Lynn Vossler. I'm with Workforce Development at Front Range Community College, overseeing the related learning portion of the apprenticeship, Arborist Apprenticeship. Let's see who has not. Who's left? Joseph.
There we go. Hey guys, Joe Tabano here, Denver Public Schools. I am Alternative Cooperative Education through ACE Connect. Internships, job placement for kids in the public school system within Denver. Thanks so much.
And I think we still have Randy, maybe, if Randy's available to speak.
Hi, Randy Grady. I'm with Treetop. We are now a division of Bartlett, and I'm an administrative assistant there.
Let's go with Madeline.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little late. My name's Madeline. I'm the Workforce Development Manager with the Park People. Good to see all of you. Yeah.
And let's see, I think. Oh, perfect. Great. Yeah. You can talk.
I'm trying to figure out the audio. I'm listening in on the phone today. My name is Mike Earl, owner operator of Old Growth Tree Service here in Eagle County, and a member of the management team. I'll be listening on my phone today to the meeting.
Thanks, Mike. Anyone else who has not said who they are? I can't remember since we were chatting at the beginning about who we've not heard from in this part.
I'm Kat Plaza. I help with statewide registered apprenticeships.
Perfect. And I guess, Josh, we were talking a bunch at the beginning, but you introduce yourself, Josh.
I think we all know each other here, but yeah, Josh with We Love Trees and the acting chair of the Tree Care Sector Partnership and on the leadership team. And I've been a little out of the loop, so or missed the Tuesday meeting. So anyway, good to see you all. Happy cloudy Thursday.
And it looks like Dan is just joining us and is still connecting to audio. So we'll give him a moment. But Dan, I don't know if you can hear us. We're doing introductions, so feel free to introduce yourself if you're available. Okay. Maybe not just yet, just getting situated. So we'll move on and hopefully hear from Dan in a bit, unless I missed someone else. It's hard being ping-ponging around the Brady Bunch here. So, so first up on the agenda, let's get an update from Front Range.
All righty. I just want to first say thank you to Kelly and to Adrian for being at our information session on Tuesday. I thought that was so good for people to hear from you guys, and thank you so much for bringing your apprentices along. I know that means taking time away from work, and it was really appreciated. You guys did a great job. We have opened registration, and I already have registrations coming in, which is great news. I know Nikki sent out the information to get registered for our related learning, and it's also, all the details are on our website, www.frontrange.edu/arborist. And you can just go into the Front Range site and search Arborist, and it'll come up as well. One of the good news things is that as we start going to more online, we won't have those really expensive manuals. So that's really good news, because they were pretty pricey, or they were online and then people had to print them all out. So we won't have those because all the information is online. So that's good. Let's see. Deadline to register is October 20. And we will then have, and I'll be sending out information to everybody who registers, for both the employers and the students. We will have an orientation meeting on October 24th. It'll be for an hour in the morning, 8:30 to 9:30 on Zoom. And so I'll be sending that out to everybody to just get everybody sort of grounded in what the schedule will be like and how to get on to do your online training. The first class in both schedules, year 1 and year 2, we sent out to everybody also on the website. Year 1 has the first class starting November 7th, but again, the orientation will be October 24th. We'll describe how to get on to that online training, and folks need to complete the online training in each module before the field work. And so folks will have some time there to complete that online training before the November 7th start. Year 2, our very first class is plant health care. The TCIA has not completed everything yet, and so they have not completed plant health care. That's not online yet. So that'll be a fully classroom course. And so that one starts, I believe, October 26th, but no online work has to be done before that one for year 2. And just to clarify again, anybody who already finished year 1 is now in year 2. If they finished year 2, they are in year 3. Both of those groups of folks are taking the year 2 classes. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to call me. Things are looking great. Brian will be getting a hold of you to get in and use some of your trees. So you and I will be talking soon as well. But thank you again. Oh, I'll also be looking for a chipper truck for use for the field work in using chipper. And then Kelly, you and I can touch base on a bucket truck. Oh, we have.
Yeah,
some
I'm going to delegate that to Alex. I know he's
Okay.
one of the instructors, and he's my district trainer at this point. So he's going to head that up.
Okay.
And he's in the know on kind of how we pulled that off in times past. So, yep. He'll keep
Perfect.
me in the loop.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Which date do you need that for, Lynn?
The chipper. You mean, or the buck?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Let me, how about you move on and I will let you know
Great.
later on in the meeting, okay?
Great, sounds good. Let's see, I'm just looking at the rest of the agenda. I'm gonna go ahead and just continue a little bit. Oh, wait, there it is, the information session. So we'll let Park People, so Madeline, provide an update, and then we'll talk a little bit more specifically about the apprenticeship session that we had.
Sure. Thanks, everyone. Let's see, I thought the event on Tuesday was super valuable for the two participants that came, Isaiah and Jabbar. So they got to meet Kelly and Lynn and Nikki and see Megan again and meet Adrian. I thought that was all super valuable. They left pretty excited about the apprenticeship and some other things. So thought it was like good for them to clarify some of the questions that were in their head. And so that was awesome. Let's see, tomorrow is their graduation. And kind of like we predicted, I think some of them are really interested in following this career pathway, and some of them are maybe like interested but not really ready to dive in yet. So that's just been kind of a learning experience for us. And yeah, we'll kind of see how all that goes. We started with 10 participants and 5 will be graduating tomorrow. So that's pretty exciting. There's a lot of learning moments, and I'll be reaching out to some of you all who worked with us for maybe a little bit more feedback about just the program in general, because we're kind of trying to plan for the future one and also debrief. So that's kind of what's going on. If anyone has any other questions about it, feel free to reach out.
Hey, Madeline, out of that 5, I know you said maybe some might be interested in pursuing. Obviously, I think those 2 that came sound like they're pretty excited. What's your gut tell you in terms of the other 3?
It's a good question. I think a lot of them are a little indecisive. Like one day they're like,
Yeah,
this is my new passion and this is like the pathway for me. And then the next day they're like, I think I want to go to like culinary school. And so they're kind of, some of them are like a little more all over the place. But
sounds like our employees.
Yeah.
Sounds like me.
Exactly.
You know, so it's a little bit hard to tell, just a gut reaction. And then I don't know, we'll see. One of them, like let's see, like one of them's interested in making his own business, but I've kind of been saying like, well, in order to be like a tree care company, you usually have to like have a little bit of experience working on the ground first. That's just kind of how it is. So yeah, does that answer the question a little? Yeah, but I mean, that was kind of partially our goal, right? Like screening anyone who's interested in this industry now so that they're not diving into the apprenticeship or diving into, you know, like a full job and then ending up deciding like that they do want to go to culinary school or whatever. So yeah.
I'd just like to speak to that phenomenon. I think that, you know, just for perspective and context, like anytime you start something new, you know, like, you know, we have this, you know, sort of ingrained perspective that like, hey, it's got to be 8 out of 10 to be passing, right? Like, what is success? Like, what are the success criteria? And I think anytime you're doing something new, it's important not to apply that type of rigid perspective to it. And, you know, sometimes like 1 out of 10 might be awesome, right? Like Adrian hired somebody off of our list that, you know, from, you know, the Front Range list we've been keeping for a long time. And, you know, so I think there's like discovery and learning, and that, you know, just focusing on what's important, right? And we saw the same thing with starting up apprenticeship. We started out with this first cohort, and like we graduated 4, right? Or so I just think that that's important for context and for morale as well. Like, hey, we're doing something new here, and it's important to have our eyes out on the horizon, and to not get distracted by like the little speed bumps along the way. So just wanted to speak that.
Josh, I think you are so right. All the new programs we start at Front Range, same thing. It just takes some time to get it going. And you just got to gut through those first few times when you have 3 and 4 people. And even our information session, I think we learned a lot from doing that. It was a really good event. But like Megan and I talked, what's a better timing and how do we make it bigger and better every time? So, yeah.
I think honestly, Madeline, having 5 people graduate from the 10, particularly the population you're pulling from, is wildly successful. I mean, I'm very impressed with that, and just being brand new and figuring things out. And even the people who it's a success too, to know that those people who are no longer in the program didn't join one of our companies, and we put a bunch of money into hiring them, and then they're gone. So it's what you're doing is a huge help to the industry, and to the people, even if they don't complete it, because they're learning skills that they need. So kudos. That's you started it and you've completed one section of it, and now you get to make it bigger and better. So great job.
Totally. Thanks, you too. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So are there any other questions for Madeline? Okay. So the info session that we had on, was that Tuesday? I don't know. Again, time warp for me. I really was, again, we didn't have a whole lot of new faces there, but the ones we did, particularly I think it was Eric from Patriot Tree Care, seemed very interested. So to me, that's a success, that we're getting the word out, and only to improve on that. And I even, learned a few things as well. So it was fun to meet some of the people. I've heard their names but never seen their faces, in terms of instructors and that type of thing. So it was good. I made some good connections there as well. Anyone else have comments, questions? Go ahead, Josh.
I wasn't there. Sorry that I missed it. But I did get a follow-up email, which I thought was interesting, from a fellow named Lee, who is he has his own company up in Conifer, and has a very strong interest in apprenticeship. And so and he was just saying, hey, I'm really interested, but I don't fit the model, right, of apprenticeship. Like I would hire on with a company that has this. And it sounds like he's committed to his company. And kind of like Madeline mentioned, one of the unique things about what we do is there really isn't a restriction to entry into the industry, right? And so he's at this place where he needs to learn, and he's learning by hiring people that have the skills and learning from them. And my takeaway in the correspondence was, well, apprenticeship is a model of learning, these skills, but it's not the only model. And in fact, most tree companies are following an apprenticeship model, just without saying it in a lot of ways. So I just corresponded with him and said, hey, I'd be happy to talk. And he might be someone down the road where he's hired a skilled journey worker arborist and he's implemented apprenticeship in his company. And that might be the way he ends up going through that track. So just wanted to share that with everyone. And I just said, hey, give me a call. Happy to chat with you about it and give you my perspective.
Hey, Josh, that's
Yeah,
a perfect
where I
segue
was-
because I was going to mention that as well. Oh, go ahead, Mike. I want to loop back before we go to a different topic. So I was in the middle of writing it as you said it, Josh. We had 3 businesses, and I was very careful to call them businesses, and 2 quality employers that that are definitely interested in pay trade. I think he's on vacation, but I'm expecting paperwork to go quickly with them. And then Lee was also, and he's so interested in apprenticeship. And it was interesting because we had Eric at the same table, and Eric just went into building his own company. And I was like, tell us your story, because he's kind of where Lee was. And so the tools in my toolbox are apprenticeship. And I said, well, Lee, if you really want to do apprenticeship, you either need to join another company to get your apprenticeship, or you need to hire a climbing arborist to be your mentor. But there's other ways to get there. You don't have to do apprenticeship. So I was wondering what resources, if somebody comes to me like that, and apprenticeship may not be the exact perfect fit for that person, as a sector partnership, where should I send them next, and what are the tools? That was what I wanted to leave here with today.
I can speak to that. I mean, I think for me, it's I would send them directly to the Tree Care Industry Association and the Tree Care Academy, which is pretty much the same curriculum that we're doing, just outside of registered apprenticeship. And then also the local Rocky Mountain chapter of the ISA. Like, those are the 2 main resources. And I think it's always better when you can connect a person with a person. And Amanda Gaisley is the member engagement coordinator for the Western region of the Tree Care Industry Association. And so you should probably have her cell phone number, so you can be like, hey, call Amanda and tell her what you need, and that's her job. Her job is to get new members and support them for TCIA in the Western region. So I'll see if I'll find her number and send that to you.
I can connect you via email as well, Kat. I was actually just emailing with her yesterday. And she is going to be at the Rocky Mountain ISA conference as well. So are you going to be there, Kat? There was somebody I was talking to at the thing who said they were going to be there, but
I can, but I wasn't.
She'll be in town. But regardless, she's wonderful. Oh, thanks, Mike, for posting, and Nikki for posting contact information. Yeah, she is. If she doesn't have the information, she will find it quickly.
And then, Josh, did you give Lee any of this information already? Otherwise, that's who I was, of course, asking for right now.
Yeah, I basically just said, hey, Lee, sounds like, there's some opportunities, here's my number, feel free to text or call, and that was it.
I've been calling Megan's list that she gave me, and it was, I think, around 15 tree care companies around the area. And so that's, I think, where we picked up Eric. And there's several more that have called me back that are interested. So I was going to ask that same question. What's our strategy for moving people along? And so it might be worthwhile to just kind of have a sheet that says, if you're interested, here's where to go, right? Arborist, if it's a company interested in Arborist, Cat, I assume we go send them directly to you. Okay. And then if it's folks, the other thing to tell them is to join our sector partnership, right? Yeah. And to do that, Nikki, should we send them to do we have a membership form or anything that they fill out?
Sounds like a great opportunity for a flow chart, a decision tree flow chart.
Really, just something that kind of a strategy when we all get these new people that are interested.
I'd be happy to help with the content and the flow chart for whatever that process is. I don't want membership to feel formal. I want it to be casual, join when you can, and inclusive. So right now it's just send me an email and I'll put you on the list. That doesn't mean we can't adapt that further down the road. I just know that paperwork is not an exciting part of most tree care folks. I did want to add comments about the info session if before we move on, if now is an okay time.
Yeah, I think so. I think just before we add those comments, just to close up what, the question on who to send people to, Lynn. I think absolutely connecting them with Kat, and if they have more questions on the benefits and want to speak with an employer, I would imagine that anyone who has apprentices on this call already would be more than willing to have a discussion with someone. So if it's helpful for you to just have all of the contact information in one place, then you can make that. I think you have everyone's, so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nikki.
I was able to take a recording of Tuesday's session, so it's going to take a little bit of editing, but I'm going to at least put the full recording on our YouTube page. So Lynn, if they are interested and want some more information, I have digital copies of Kat's folder of handouts. I will have the recording hopefully today, and then we can share any of those resources of immediately, like if they're just in the gathering information mode, you can connect them with that. And at this point, you're welcome to start including myself and Kat. I feel like you've done the first step, and anyone who's now engaging, you can include Kat and I on emails, and then that way everyone knows all the details. But so I will follow up with all attendees to the info session. We'll get a follow-up email with all the links to the resources, including the outside careers video that we weren't able to play, or we were able to play but not able to hear. So any of those things they will get if they signed up, because there were a few people who signed up that did not attend. So hoping to share those resources one way or the other.
I think that's a great idea, Nikki. And I know there are a lot of people, myself included, who sometimes it's like, I don't really have time to try and get hold of someone and have a conversation, but I do need some more information. So I think that's really helpful. I do want to stress to folks who may have contact with interested parties that, there is, obviously all of us know, but making sure they know that there is some urgency to, especially this year, get enrolled and know that there are resources for next year, funding wise, if they get in touch with Kat and all of those things. So it's very doable financially. And like you mentioned, Lynn, during the event, the time away from the field for the employer is minimal over the winter time. So, just, I think those are the biggest things to be able to stress to people, is that it's not a massive commitment of time and money, but it is a huge investment for your company to do this. So that is all that I have to say about that. Anything else, Nikki, that you've had to mention?
I did take some photos and video, and David, I'll be sending it your way for editing finesse of a fun shortened version promotional thing. Because we had a great group of people. There's some great, Lynn gave a shout out to Save a Tree in City of Aurora. That panel, they did great. And then about the pre-apprenticeship, some of the excitement for Isaiah and Jabbar there. Just some good snippets, I think, audio. So I'll be sending that your way. And a lot of it is mediocre photography and mediocre video work, but it'll be coming your way.
I have a request, and maybe Megan, you could tell me if I should hold off on this request. But hearing you say that, Nikki, I think it sounds like there's some good raw material there that we could possibly utilize for the presentation. at the Rocky Mountain chapter of the ISA meeting on the 20th of October. And I would just, I need help with that kind of, I think, in order to just a few slides. It's a half-hour presentation, but would love to know, or, you know, like, I'm fine speaking and presenting, but would want to be informed about what you all think would be most effective and helpful to convey. So maybe we can follow up with that in the leadership team meeting.
That sounds great, Josh. Let's plan on it. One thing I did want to mention is, I can't remember if I imagined it or I actually sent an email to you, that you were mentioning, you know, you'd be fine with help with that presentation. I plan to be there. So if you needed another voice, great. If you don't, that's fine too. I know my perspective is a little different, just coming in as brand new into the experience of getting apprentices on board. So
Yeah,
whatever you
teamwork makes the
need.
dream work.
Yep.
So, please, yeah, happy to collaborate. I
Okay.
just, you know, I just threw my name in there as a presenter because the opportunity presented itself, and I got the slot. So you know, I think we're one of the first slots on that first day, which is cool. That's a good timing. So yeah, let's put our heads together and you know, make it impactful.
Cool. I'll shoot you an email after this.
All right.
Anything else about the info session? Sorry, brain is not putting words out of mouth very quickly today.
I'm sorry, my hand button isn't working on my Zoom. I think I need to unload and reload it or something, because I think I said that the last time I was on this meeting. But Nikki, to go back to what we were talking about with how to get people involved, because that was the other thing is the employers that they were like, how do I get connected to the sector partnership? And as you were saying, you wanted it to be informal, and emailing you was the best option. Could it be as simple as like how you would normally sign up as a newsletter? Like make it look like it's just a quick sign up, and maybe it's a form for you, Nikki, but they don't know that. It looks like you're just informally signing up to join. And maybe I have a visualization that's way beyond our tech capabilities, but that was something that came to mind because Eric didn't ask, but American Arbor Care did. They were like, how do we get connected? And I was like, well, I'll make sure. And I sent that information to you. So.
Oh, if Paul can't figure out how to get connected, I mean, come on.
It wasn't Paul that was there. So maybe that's
Okay.
the thing.
Heather
It's not the people that are,
yeah.
so that's the other thing to think about is maybe it's your organization is already involved, but the people that are now doing the work of considering it.
What about just a, you know, I don't know how our web presence, I know that the Front Range website seems to be functional, but even just like here, click on this. Like what I do for my customers is like, hey, I suck at taking down information. Go to my website and the contact us form and enter your email in, and it will go to the person that will respond to you in a timely manner.
Mhm.
So I think that is, you know, maybe something like that, Nikki. I don't know where that web page would be, but it would just like Colorado Tree Care Sector Partnership, you know, join
Yep.
the fun.
Yep.
You know,
And just your name and email, you know, it can be that simple. It's something just that they click so they know.
and that
See,
way,
look,
you know,
it
like,
exists.
oh, it does.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. Nikki posted a link. And it's like, boom, name, email, and subject and message.
Nikki
And
looks so
what
forlorn.
I wonder if there's a way to just change the verbiage on there. You know, not just we look forward to connecting with you, but fill out this, and then, you know, you can just say, fill out this form, or, you know, send us a message here to join the partnership. And then that's it. But is this what pops up when oh, there's a join page. Got it. Hang on.
Real-time learning.
There's another thing. I could share my screen, but it's too hard. So there is a thing that says join, name, email, shop name, city, and our message.
Perfect.
So do we have a QR code to take people directly to that, Nikki? Is that what our QR code does? She can make one. Cool.
QR code just sends an email. They scan the QR code and it pops up an automatic email that has a subject like looking to connect to the tree care sector partnership in the subject line. That's what that one that I've done in the past does, but I could easily make one that goes here.
Okay. Yeah, because if somebody's like, yeah, I want to join right now, that's
I was
a way to
looking
do it.
into dot cards, which are so it's not like a business card that can get thrown away. It's like almost like a credit card, and then it has that QR code on there. And so it's reusable. So we could figure out how much those are. I'm sure there's other versions of it, but it's something that like you reuse. It's not the intention that that person takes it. They could scan it and everybody could have one that's handy. But
yeah,
we can certainly dive into this process.
For sure. And I think it would be great even just to have that QR code that those of us attending Rocky Mountain ISA conference can take with us. You know, on one side of a piece of paper, we can have the join QR code, and the other one, if they're like, I'm not so sure, but I want to find out more information, they can just have the QR code to contact you directly. Would be fabulous.
Megan, I don't know if this is on the agenda. Are we having a booth at Rocky Mountain ISA and at
we're on the same telepathic brainwaves.
All right.
Is there any further discussion about the info session? If not, I can jump right into that. Okay, so next on our agenda is talking about what's happening, which is one of those things is the ISA conference. And I was also going to ask if we had heard from Kelly if she was okay with us having a table there we can put some stuff on, and if those of us that are going happen to be able to be at the table for a little bit, that's great. So it sounds like not quite. If we can't, I think those of us that are attending should absolutely at least have some items to share while we're there, and that's, you know, part of the slides, even Josh, could be the QR codes that say join us or contact us, and then be able to carry around those QR codes to make sure, hey, get in touch with us sometime during this conference and we are happy to chat about it. It's better, I always think, to have a table where people can come find you if it's possible. I also don't want to tie anybody to the table if that's difficult. What is those of you who are attending, what are your thoughts about having a table, or would you rather not, so you don't feel obligated to be there on a regular basis?
Well, if we brought some rope, we could literally tie someone to the table.
I mean, we've got rope, that's for sure.
I would think, you know, if we can get a table there, great. I do think I'm going to be there as well. I think there's several of us that are going to be there, right? And I'll actually have a couple other my managers there as well. I would almost say, even if we don't have anybody there, I would just say, bring a picture of ourselves. Okay, we are here. Come see one of us. You know, and that way they can connect with any of us all the time. But
we will have representation, either me or an instructor will be there the whole time. So it would be nice. I think the table kind of gives you an anchor place to be and to talk to people. And, you know, even like Kelly said, even if it's not manned 100% of the time, it gives people, you know, it gives you a place to put information about apprenticeship and about the sector partnership.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be cool if we could have a table, but I looked last night because I was signing one of our arborists up for it, and it looks like I think the tables are like $300, and I'm not sure we want to spend our budget on that. So
we can pay for that out of our promotion to the grant.
That's true. Look at that. So, you know, free is great, but grant money works too. So let's, Nikki, if you want to just reach out to Kelly and ask her what it would take to get a table. And if she says $300 is what it would take to get you a table, then we can say, okay, well, we'll do that.
And Nikki, you and I can figure out if the place setting company, because the place setting company is who is in the grant to promote. And so if you guys pay for it, then you can invoice the grant.
Awesome. We have a plan. I think, Madeline, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was wondering if I could maybe give some little like half sheets that you could just have on the table, or if you wanted me to be there, depending on the date. Because we work pretty closely with like Dana Coelho and a few of the other members of the RMC, and they've recently donated like a bunch of copies of the ISA manual to our participants and some other really nice stuff. So I always just want to kind of get our name out there, if that would be okay, just to have like a pile of half sheets about the program with my contact info or something. Does that seem doable?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know, Josh, if it would be helpful for Madeline to send you anything that would work on as part of slides as for the presentation.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. And Madeline, I'd highly encourage you to attend. I mean, I know you've worked in tree care before, and it would seem to me that this totally lines up with, especially with your role at Park People, to go. So maybe even just for the first day, if you could.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool.
I know we were talking about our budget and if they could pay for me to go. So
Well,
I'll look into that.
you know, maybe you could just slide in like, you know, as a presenter, you know, be like, hey, Madeline's here to present. And then, you know, nobody will notice when you just are hanging around for the rest of the day.
I just slide into a seat. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, we can talk about it. So.
Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Anything else to talk about? Since that is 1 month away, just under. Okay. The ISA Certified Arborist Exam Study Group is starting next week on Tuesday evening. So if you have anyone who you think would benefit from that, anyone studying for their ISA exam, or just colleagues that you know might have people, certainly share that around. We do have one of our crew members signed up for that. Hopefully he'll be certified soon.
Megan, would you want me to send that notice out to all of our students?
I mean, I don't think that would hurt. Although, you know what I just realized? That might not be great because they might have a bunch of angry people, because I looked last night to see if there were, because I was checking on when it started, and I think they're full. So maybe actually that was not helpful for me to say at all, that you should tell people about it.
All right. Good to know now.
Yeah, I just had a light bulb go off that when I was on the page last night.
That's probably a good thing to know.
I believe it is full.
Huh.
But at the same time, if you do have people interested, it doesn't hurt to reach out to Kelly to see if there is a way to expand it or to have more, because if they know there's a lot of if there's a lot of interest, you know, they may have another session, you know, right away in November, you know, that type of a thing, all leading up to ProGreen in February, where I think they have a live one, and then the people can sit for the exam. I think, if I recall correctly, at ProGreen. So anyway, that's that. Any questions there? Because I want to make sure we give at least a little time for some open discussion for anyone who has any challenges or ideas to discuss with the group.
I've got a question that came up would it make sense to, I know with our apprenticeship, I'm sorry, Nikki, I jumped right in over your hand. I know that with our medical apprenticeships that we're doing with the college, we're seeing a lot of success as far as pipeline with pre-apprenticeship in the high schools or for high school students. And Madeline and I kind of visited, would it make sense for the Park people to do a pre-apprenticeship for high schoolers?
Well, and that's one of the topics that from our leadership team meeting last time, I reached out to August Hoppy in Wisconsin because they have their first youth apprentice in place. And August and I were supposed to connect via phone to discuss that. So I think that's an awesome place to go next. And, you know, Madeline, with Joe on this call and the engagement, you know, I don't know how you feel, but I think, like, from my perspective and the industry's perspective, that is, I mean, I just had a conversation with the owner of a really big national tree care company yesterday. And, you know, that's like where we have been looking historically to find people doesn't work anymore. And we have to create new pathways and, you know, getting people aware when they're young is like the most apparent pathway. So anything we can do there, to me, is like good work.
Well, and it's all set up. I mean, Madeline has the curriculum set. We're happy to provide, facilities or whatever it takes from the college point of view. One thing we would need is funding, because Madeline, you get your funding for what you're doing through another source. But I don't know where Kat went, but I know there's apprenticeship money coming down.
Yeah, and also the climate action. I mean, the bill that came through Congress. Talking with Brett Kincairn, who's running this Cool Boulder. I don't know if you remember. They've got money, and we're actually, the head of the Forest Service is coming to Boulder, Beatra, in a few weeks, and that is one of the things that they're looking at. Is how do we engage with high schools, and so I think there's some money there in that too. Kat, you got your hand up. Nikki.
Yeah, and Nikki had her hand up, so we might be referencing the same thing, but when you mentioned the climate action, and Emily is on the call, so I might end up going back to her. But there was an email chain that was sent out about the CISAR, I think is what it is, but the Denver climate, it's regarding green jobs. And I was asked my opinion, but I didn't get to respond until after the email went out. I'm working with another apprenticeship program, and I can say things that Emily might not be able to say. They have deep pockets, and so the program has deep pockets, and you're really changing. You're targeting specific zip codes in Denver as far as the individuals you're hiring. But there is this other one. It's a 26-week long pre-apprenticeship through Goodwill, so I don't know that it's ideal. It's not necessarily workforce funding that I can speak for. When Lynn's like, Kat, there's lots of money coming down. There is, but I only have my scholarships that I just want to be very clear. And Emily's gonna be my witness that I'm not speaking on behalf of any other workforce center. And pre-apprenticeships, they have to either already be connected, and as Madeline had great success, 5 out of 10 is an amazing success from for a pre-apprenticeship. Actually, I know it doesn't feel like it, but it is a career exploration. So for that reason, some of that apprenticeship money that needs to be tied directly to an apprenticeship isn't always there. So I would encourage you to the Office of Climate Action, Sustainability, and Resiliency, revisit those emails. And I would definitely, if you're interested, I think Shannon is the one who sent those, and connect with her. But we're seeing some similar, like there's, the interest level isn't necessarily there, just what you're kind of seeing everywhere, but those that there are interested in, they're able to target, and they are seeing success with. So, it's nothing to turn your head to, is my answer there.
Just to follow up on what Kat was saying, And sorry, Nikki, do you want to? Okay. So there, I can't say much about this except that there is a RFP out. It's due on October 7th, and it's a Green Career Pathway Accelerator program. So I can send Nikki the information to send out, but that's
So I put it in the chat. We won't be applying as a sector partnership. It really is so Denver focused that it would make more sense for an employer to do so. I think David might be doing it.
I was looking into it, but they're requiring you have a 75% success rate. And I can't guarantee that I'll have anybody for 3 years, far less a 75% success rate. So that's the problem that I was running into. That one is I can find the people in the Denver area to work, but I mean, who can say you're going to have someone for 3 years?
That's a long time.
Is it 3 years based on the current registered apprenticeship, or 3 years because that's the life of the grant? Sorry.
3 years because that's the life of the grant, and they wanted that 75% success rate, which is that has to cut me out because planning that far ahead it is impossible.
Okay.
I have a couple thoughts about all of this. I know that we've received a little bit of funding from CASR previously. And I think we are applying for this upcoming grant, and we're kind of trying to make decisions while wrapping up the current program about like what the future cohorts are going to look like. I know that CASR is a brand new office. They went from like 0 to like 50 or 70 employees right away. And so there have definitely been some bumps in the road. I think they have great intentions, and then at times like it's I don't know, it's like the expectations, like a 75% success rate, for example, or like they're expecting us to plant like 300 trees a year and then monitor the survival of those trees forever. And like the work and like employees needed to like accomplish that with our 5-person staff is like not possible. So, and like they're really neighborhood focused, like Kat said, like they're you know, like they're asking us to work in like 3 or 4 of Denver's neighborhoods for all of our recruitment for this program, and like work with residents. And it's like really at times like difficult to kind of meet some of those expectations. So I could see why like for the sector partnership, it wouldn't make a ton of sense, but I'm definitely, that's not to say that it's not a great opportunity, because it totally is. And they have a lot of funding right now. For the high school question, I'm really interested in like what a pre-apprenticeship for high schoolers would look like, because like right now our structure is like an 8-week full-time, basically like Monday through Friday type schedule for our pre-apprenticeship. And I'm curious about like if that would work for high schoolers, and when that would have to happen, like in their off, like in the summer, I'm guessing. And then if there was a possibility for doing something during their school year, and like what that would look like if it would be at nighttime or like on weekends, or how that structure would look. I don't know if
there are some programs, and I cannot think of the name of the place that I've reached out to, and I need to reach out to again because I haven't heard back, but they specifically work with high schoolers and put them into essentially internships while they're in school. They get class credit for doing these things. So, you know, maybe they're at the job site 1 day a week, maybe, you know, I don't know quite how it works, but let me look and see if I can reach out to them again and say, look, we are actively trying to figure out pre-apprenticeship for high school students, and that might pique their interest a little bit more, that we're not kidding. And see what we can get to happen. I know that Shelby has already had a conversation with Joseph, right? It was Joseph you had a conversation with, right? And so possibly Shelby reaching out to Joseph and saying, hey, we're really interested in exploring how this might work. I mean, we can't say we're going to get it started right next year, but you know,
Totally.
what it might look like.
And I've done an internship with Jeffco before, and they have a program set up for juniors and seniors in specific for doing it. And that can be either you can do it over the summer or you can do it fall or spring. And for those, it'd be seniors and juniors because you have off periods so that they can do it in the middle of the day. So they more schedule their class times around when they work. And that is a good program as well that I can reach out to if you'd like.
And someone, Kat, typed in the CTE coordinator, and that was one of the people I reached out to for Weld County. And so I'm going to reach out again. I'm not as familiar with the CDIP program, but Nikki, what you had something like burning to say, and we just kept putting you off. What did you have, or did it already get said?
Yeah, the Green Career Pathway Accelerator.
Cool, cool.
And
There was another hand. Oh, go ahead. There was another hand raised by Emily, I think.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think it's definitely possible to do the pre-apprenticeship with seniors in high school. I know Emily Griffith right now is working on doing a pre-apprenticeship in construction for seniors. And so it's so many hours a week where they're not in class, but they are usually taking some sort of college credits while doing on-the-job training as well. So it's definitely possible.
Okay. Well, I think this is, I mean, this has enough traction that I think we should absolutely talk about this further in our leadership team meeting. I think seeing if any of we might be able to have guests at a future meeting talk about what their programs are like and how we can integrate with that with some of the high schools or districts, I think would be really helpful. So if any of you have connections, I would encourage you to email them to Nikki so we can move forward on figuring out what we might be able to do down the road. But it's 10:31. So if there is anything else, you know, definitely shoot an email. But I would encourage you, if you have ideas, those usually come up right after a meeting, send them over to Nikki, and we can move forward on all the things. Okay.